Hi, Leon. Here we are again.
Hi, Sonja.
I had such a fun time last time we got together, and I'm sure we're going to have another fun session going forward
Yeah,
on this.
I'm starting to look forward to these weekly recordings and the way we do it. I think I agree. It's fun. I'm looking forward. Yeah, is it Layla? She chooses a man to represent her, which is also
Yes,
quite interesting. Um, she chooses Fico, and he, on the surface, it looks like no, but how can you choose a man to represent? But then it turns out that Fico is a very seasoned representer, and he immediately gets what is going on. So very interesting. But that she intuitively chooses him to do that.
yes, yes, yes. And so the thing is, it's not important whether the representative is male or female. What is important is that whatever the whatever happens in the body is being expressed. And that is what he did well. And yes, you're right. He is a seasoned representative. But you know what? It doesn't matter whether somebody is seasoned or not. And this is always the most amazing when Ada then is like, what is going on? She is like, can't believe what is happening within me. And you can see that she's really already angry at having this experience. So her own anger really surfaces through this experience of what she's having in her representation.
Exactly. Yeah. She immediately feels that drowning. She represents the drowning feeling. And then
Yes,
immediately she can't understand what the hell is going on with her because her rational mind is trying to control everything so beautifully. And yet, the irrational, experiential side, shall we call it that, is giving her impulses that she cannot just ignore. They are real in that sense.
absolutely. And then Toprak is brought in and no specific representation is given. So, and that I think is really good because there's no attachment to a representation. It is, let's see where this goes. And I love it when I do this in constellations because it really opens up for any possibility to come along. And then she is immediately like, no, this can't be true. And then this confrontation between the two of them comes to the fore in the constellation. So the question I've often had from representatives is that me putting my stuff out there? And the answer is yes and no, because it is your anger. I once had a constellation, and this husband came along to see what his wife was doing, and he got all the angry rolls. And then on his way home, he said to his wife, I got all the rolls for the angry men. Am I that angry? It was such an insight for him
Yeah.
because whenever his wife said to him, you know, you're angry, he would deny it. And when he was in the constellation, so it's absolutely perfect.
Mm.
Whatever role and representative is given is absolutely perfect.
Mm.
So yeah,
So even though you're representing for somebody else, your buttons can get pushed in the process.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes. And then she gets to push him, and I want to just to reflect on this a little bit because um, that again is another situation that we or I refrain people from doing it. I say, what is it that you want to do? Give me what is it that you want to do? I want to hit him. So the information is given, but no action follows through.
Mm.
What's your take on that?
I totally agree. I've seen situations where people go so in a deep trance about this that they kind of lose control and then they do things or behave a certain way that is not really constructive to the progress of the constellation. So in cases, there was one case I remember in my history where the person had to be taken outside of the room and asked to calm down and get ground herself again. But so some representatives, of course, are very sensitive and they can get sucked into a role too deeply. Now, you and I know there are certain techniques how we teach how not to get too deep into the trance. But nevertheless, I agree with you. I think that it's not needed. Just the expression of how you feel in that situation is enough information.
Absolutely. And I want to put a caution in here. There are people who see this type of thing, they have done similar type of works, and they feel that they can be a facilitator of this work, and not knowing all the little safeguards can sometimes get them into trouble. And so that is why our training is a minimum of 2 years, because this is part of the training of giving the safeguards of why we do what we do, allowing people to go into a trance, but also knowing when they go too deep into a trance, not to allow them to go there. And I would say measuring what is happening in the constellation on some level.
Definitely. Would totally agree.
But we can see that Ada is completely out of her world, and she does not like what she's just experienced. So she runs.
So it touches her, but it causes her to go in a deeper denial about it because her rational mind is fighting with this experience.
Yes. And yes, and she's like, no, 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 no. And then Layla is the one who is, again, the funny one. And she says, running away from things just does not work, because Ada has run away, and running away from your experiences. And what is key here is Ada is in her normal, this is how I deal with stress. I don't confront it, I move away from it. So that's her typical way of dealing with stress or trauma in that as it was in her case. And many of us do that. We don't want to face the pain. We do the things to fix it. And she's very much also accused by her friends. You always want to fix it, but not her own stuff. Fixing everybody else is fine. And don't we, aren't there many of us, yes, we become facilitators, we become coaches because we want to fix everybody else's problem so that we look and we're in control. And meanwhile, who needs the help? Who needs to confront the issues? We do.
Exactly.
Thank you for being here with me again today, Leon.
Thank you.
It's so positive because we come from such different points of view, and so I really, really appreciate this time with you. Again, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Awesome.
Thank you. Looking forward to our next time. Thank you.
Absolutely.